Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Happenings Now. Today we'll be talking about newsletters and upcoming workshops. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our latest episode of Happenings Now. I have Bradford Sherman here with me, and we are going to discuss South Center's latest Connections newsletter.
Well, Jennifer, it is a pleasure to be finally back on the air with you. I looked it up, and this is our first episode together since January of 2020. Has anything happened in the meantime?
I'm not sure. We have a pretty big newsletter that says something might have happened in the meantime, behind the scenes, while we were suffering with COVID.
Oh, that's right, the global health crisis. I thought maybe we were canceled. Okay, it was everything was canceled. Okay,
I think everyone was on vacation.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good. I'm glad we weren't canceled. It's good to be back. And yes, what better way to get back than to talk about the latest newsletter? We just put out a brand new edition of the Connections newsletter. And of course, we've been on here talking about the newsletter several times already. And, it's a good way to look back at the prior year. And this is the Achievements edition, which we are always particularly proud of because it kind of has our best and our brightest, news from the past year.
Yes, it does. And proof that while everyone and the nation was on lockdown, that things were still running.
Absolutely.
And going.
Yes, we never stopped here working at South Center. So if we could just bring up the newsletter, let's take a look. Look at that wonderful cover. I made that. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. That is our South Center's 30. As you can see, there we go. Now the mouse is working. We had a birthday while we were away.
We did. We turned 30.
Yeah, South Center's turned 30 years old. So we were extremely excited to celebrate this milestone. And Jennifer, you helped me out a lot with this. I helped chair a committee to put on this celebration. It was a whole lot of work, but it was a whole lot of fun too. We had the president of the Ohio State University, Dr. Christina Johnson, come here to Piketon and speak at our event, and that was extremely exciting. We can go back to the newsletter there. We can see some photos. We'll just go right down here. There's a photo of Dr. Johnson shaking hands with Dr. Worley, who's our director here at South Centers, and looking on there in the center is the College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Sciences Dean, Kathy Ann Kress, and she spoke as well at our event. And there you can see Dr. Johnson speaking. Also speaking at our event was the Extension Director, Jackie Wilkins.
Yes.
And, here's another exciting thing we had. We have 4 employees who have been here since the facility opened. Dwayne Rigsby, Marcia Amlin, Dean Rapp, and Wayne Lewis, and we presented them all with these Buckeye jerseys with the number 30 on it to commemorate their 30 years here, and they had their last names on the back. And
that was the inspiration for the cover, right?
Exactly. That was actually one of the jerseys.
Not only has our facility been here for 30 years and has grown tremendously throughout that 30 years, we have employees that have been here since the very beginning with us.
That's right. So it must be a great place to work. People come here, they don't want to go. 30 years. So I know I love it here, and these employees do as well. So yeah, we had lots of things going on. We had lots of dignitaries, lots of elected officials. We had lots of people from the university. You can just see a few photos of people we had there. We had tours of the facility so that people could take a look around and see all the things that are going on here. They looked at our various buildings. And moving right along, anyway, one of the 30-year employees was Marcia Amlin, which we spoke about before. She, as of a few weeks ago, has retired. Has
started the next phase of her life.
Next phase of her life. And, she was my supervisor. She was your supervisor. Yes. But she was more than a supervisor. She was a friend. And I think Dean Rapp.
She was the go-to person.
Yeah.
If you needed something, you just went to Marcia.
Yeah, we love and we miss Marcia. And I think Dean Rapp said it best when he said she was like our work mom.
Yes.
He was a guy who started here at 21 years old, and now he's like, I think he said he was 52 years old, and he's just kind of grown up with Marcia here. And, we really miss Marcia.
The halls are quite different when you walk through.
But we wish her the best in her retirement, and I know she's going to be spending a lot more time with her family, and that's kind of the direction we went with the story. Family first. She has an opportunity now to help raise her granddaughters during some very formative years in their lives as they enter their teenage years. So we just wish her all the best with that.
Yes,
we hope she comes back to see us.
A little birdie told me she might be making a guest appearance sometime this week.
I think she could be. You know why? I brought Girl Scout cookies. We sold her some Girl Scout cookies. I think she's coming to get her cookies, and I don't blame her. She better hurry, or I'm going to eat them.
Or someone may help themselves.
Yes,
if not you, someone else might.
Right. All right. So we'll just move along in the newsletter. You just see some nice photos throughout the years of Marcia. I'm sure she loved that I shared some of these photos from 30 years ago. Back to the basics. This was sort of an interesting story. Brad Bergerford was very busy this year, and the newsletter reflects that. Of course, we know the Amish community. We think about them as like, well, they don't use electricity, and so obviously you wouldn't think they would do things like email and use the internet, but if we ever stop to ask the question, well, how do they prefer to communicate? And that's what this study was about. Brad did a survey to, I think, every Amish or Mennonite person who had took place in farmers markets throughout the state, and found out a lot about the way they like to communicate. They prefer face-to-face communications, and of course really nothing to do with digital type of communications, which has become so popular in our field and with our educators. So, Brad is, in this article, is encouraging educators to be mindful of communities like our Amish and Mennonite friends and how they prefer.
And I think it also discussed, I briefly had a moment to read it this morning, about the Amish auctions in the area, and there's a new one starting spring of 2022.
You're right. Brad
I want to say it's in Beaver.
That's right. There is a produce auction coming to Beaver this year, so I don't know a whole lot about it. This was an interesting column that Brad had where he kind of talked about his history and how produce auctions are very important to him. And to bring one here to Pike County where we're located is definitely exciting. So.
And it is a great way, since obviously you mentioned the Amish doesn't communicate via social media and email like the rest of us do, for any wholesaler or grocer that's looking for a new item or looking for produce for their shelves.
Right.
To be able to bid on that and get the produce out to the general public.
Yeah, very, very good point. Well, let me back up and let me ask you a question. What do you think about when you hear the words laser scarecrow?
Laser scarecrow. I would think it has something to do with defending your crops
You think it's like
from birds?
You think it's like a scarecrow out there with shooting lasers?
Possibly, or maybe like a fake owl.
Kind of. I think you're right with the fake owl. We had a really interesting story here. Gary Gow shared with us researching the effectiveness of laser bird deterrent devices. But I mean, it's a laser scarecrow, and what this was really interesting. It mimics, these lasers will mimic the eyes of a predator. I'm guessing, and what's important is that I'm going to mess this up, but it has to be a pattern that is not recognizable to the birds, or else they will pick up on that, and then it won't do any good. So our Small Fruits team was able to purchase several of these, and they are trying them out here at South Centers, as well as at several farms around the state. So it'll be interesting to hear more about that.
So through the research later on, 3, 4, 5, how long the study is going on, the general public will know if this is a good idea to protect their small fruits.
Yeah, and they've been around for a little while. It's not cutting edge technology, but this is a study just to kind of see, okay, well, how well is it working? So that's really interesting. So as we go down through our newsletter, let's take a look at some of the other things that we have, if we can bring that up. Got lots of grant dollars coming to our to our programs, which is really exciting because, of course, that is the lifeblood of our center, is all the numerous grants that we get that are helping, do these studies related to soil health and disease and that sort of thing. Of course, there's a $250,000 grant we've received to do some new strawberry production techniques. And then we kind of move into the business realm, Jennifer, which you are the expert of. At our Endeavor Center, we have an exciting new business I don't know if we've talked about since we've been away. We have a gym here.
We do have a gym here that is, it's a key gym, so it's open 24/7. So say if you work nights and you want to get a workout in at 10 o'clock at night, or you're a college kid, and they seem to have a different time zone than what we do.
Yeah.
So if you want to come work out at 1 or 2 in the morning, all you have to do is key in your password and you have access to a gym whenever you would like at your discretion. They do offer a lot of different programs. They have boot camp, they have an aerobics. They are also working on trapeze. Trapeze.
Sounds a little scary. Okay.
A trapeze program that you can use your trapeze and your body weight, helps with the core.
Okay.
So lots of interesting things
Well,
from TK Fitness. And then they also have a Facebook page if you're wanting more information, or you can stop by the Endeavor Center. There's normally someone in their office from noon to 6, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And then again, 24/7 access to whenever you want to work out.
Well, we're just coming back from the COVID quarantines
Yes.
and everything. I am a breathing, walking example of what can happen when you are quarantined. I put on more than just a few pounds. Maybe it's a great time to go get a gym membership and maybe try to lose those pounds. I should take my own advice and try to do that.
And with spring coming, just another incentive to get out there, because I think we've all fallen victim to having that refrigerator and the snacks really, really close to us.
Yeah, exactly. So there's, we've had some new partners move into the Endeavor Center. We still have some space here.
We
at the
do
Endeavor
have
Center.
space available.
So do they just call you, call Ryan? How do they
Call
inquire about
both
that?
of us, email, Facebook, and if you're wanting to start a business, we do have business counselors here that are part of the Small Business Development Centers, which we also house a program for manufacturers, the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, and then the Center for Cooperatives, if anybody would like to start a co-op. And it doesn't have to be farm-based, it can be school-based, store-based, anything where like-bodied and minded individuals are working together and they each want to share in their business.
Okay.
But we can be found at the South Center's website. If you're not very hashtag friendly or HTTP, if you just Google the Ohio State University South Centers, Google will take you right to it.
Yep. And South Center, for those of you who want to just type it straight into your address bar, it's very easy, southcenters.osu.edu. And not only, like you said, is that a great place to find out more about our Endeavor Center and the businesses and what we're doing, but we have an events calendar.
Yeah,
on
any
there,
upcoming workshops that are either in person. We are starting to slowly return to the in-person workshops, but there are lots of virtual workshops.
Yes, yeah. Virtual workshops have been so popular because we just get bigger numbers because, anybody in the state can log on and watch that. They don't have to travel all the way here to Piketon. So they've had tremendous reach. So I think that's why we want to continue to offer a virtual component, but we're seeing a lot more hybrid events as well. So think of southcenters.osu.edu as the official website of happenings now, where you can find out what's happening now. So as we continue through the newsletter, MEP had a great quarter. We have a story on that. We have some stories on our own Patrick and his team here at the video production staff, airing videos on public access television, and of course you can always find them here on YouTube as well. And as we go through, this is we already kind of mentioned this, Jennifer, about our SBDC program and how they're here to support you. Our marketing program, look at these beautiful photos. Anna Adams, she went on a pilgrimage this past fall. She went out to all these farmers markets.
Local farmers markets.
She was collecting data, and obviously she took some time, takes some outstanding photographs. So we really wanted to showcase those. And this data collection, I guess it really helps to have that data so that the people selling at those markets are just better informed about their product and about their customers, and it helps the farmers markets out as well. Here's a story about the first ever CSA conference that was held. Our friend Christy Welch, who's oftentimes on the YouTube channel here, she's talking about that. Let's see what else there. Oh, look at that. That's my son. Look at that picture.
Nice picture.
That is a good picture. He's taking part in agritourism, which I know that Christy
is a very important part of her direct marketing.
It is a big part of that. And it's becoming so popular around here. There's so many agritourism businesses. For me, it's just fun. I got young kids. We can take them to one of these agritourism places, and they can feed the animals and get a snow cone, and maybe climb around and play on some kind of rustic looking play equipment. It's a lot of fun.
And you can pick up your produce, your veggies for the week.
Yep, that's right. So
some of them are meat, so it's just not. It's a vast variety of items that you can pick up at these agritourism businesses and at farms.
Yeah, and it really brings a nice element of tourism to our region.
Yes, it does.
So we're kind of becoming, known for that around here. So as we continue into the newsletter, there was a SOA CDF grant that will allow our Center for Co-ops to continue their leadership experiences for local youth. I know that's something that's been very popular among Hannah Scott and her staff over there at the co-ops. Our soil water program, boy, were they busy this year. They were doing a whole lot of stuff, and I can tell you, I can't say a whole lot of, I can't reveal any secrets or anything coming up, but I'll just say that 2022 should be a very exciting year for our soil, water, and bioenergy program. I think they have a lot of stuff lined up for this year, and you can read all about the different things that they did this year. You can see that we held an aquaponics.
I was like, they also kind of dabble, it's just not soil, but in aquaponics,
yes,
which is the growing of vegetables, if anyone would happen to wonder, above fish water.
Yeah, exactly. And as you can see, there's a photo of some lettuce growing on top of the water there. I don't know if this is the hydroponics or the aquaponics, but the difference is whether or not you incorporate the fish and you use the excrement to help have the nutrients go to those. There's vegetables that they're growing there. There's a good picture of me. I don't think I'm quite as heavy. Well, yeah, I am. So right there. And then there's a picture of Rafik at one of the many meetings that he attends. A nationwide, worldwide, very well-traveled man, very respected man as far as his opinions go there in the soil, water, and bioenergy world. There's Dr. Arif doing some studies on some tomatoes in our laboratory. They're doing a lot of work with tomatoes and trying to see their nutrients. And then, of course, we finish up with our aquaculture program. They talk about their achievements for 2021. Of course, Dr. Han Ping Wong is always very involved in the genetic improvement of fish. The all-female yellow perch, very desirable for the aquaculture industry because, well, the female perch are larger and they grow faster. And of course, they produce eggs as well, so they're very desirable. And then when you go over to the bluegill side, the males are more desirable because they are bigger. So he's working to try to perfect all female and all male populations of these fish respectively. And he also talked about his laboratory, some of the awards that it won as far as laboratory safety, and then of course their research grant and publication awards that they won this year as well. So that is pretty much our newsletter, Jennifer, for the past year. It was our largest ever newsletter. I think we clocked in somewhere around 36.
I was going to ask that. I think we're in our 30s.
I gotta look. I wish I was in my 30s. 36 pages.
So that would be nice.
36 pages. So just a tremendous issue. Want to thank everybody who contributed information to this. It was a wonderful issue, and you can check it out.
I was
for
like,
yourself.
and where can we find this?
Yes, you can go to, of course, the official website of Happenings Now, southcenters.osu.edu. I think it's under the About Us tab. If you go over there and you kind of drop down, you can see Connections Newsletter. You can either read it in HTML format where, it's on your screen, just regular text, or you can download an actual PDF of the whole issue if you want to see all the big colorful photos.
And then at our website, we can also find any upcoming workshops
That's
that
right.
are coming in the future.
That's right.
I believe you just click on the events tab. So anything that is offered virtually or in person, as we're starting to slowly head back towards, you'll be able to find there.
Yes, as we head back towards normalcy, yes, though, we're going to see more and more events popping up in there. And
I'm thinking we do have a pawpaw workshop that's coming up.
We do, and we don't.
Towards the end of May. There's no details yet or not, other than it is in the works.
We know two things. You're right. It's in the works, and I think we do have a date on it, and it's going to be Saturday,
I believe it's May 21st.
So that's going to be a really, really big deal. We're bringing the annual Pawpaw Growers Conference and Field Day here to South Centers. So be looking for more information about that. We're going to be blitzing that information out there
Yes,
to you
we
guys
will
about that just as soon as more become available.
And if you do grow pawpaws and you would like to take a moment to go back into our fields, I believe you'll be able to go back into our fields along with gather any latest and greatest information.
Oh yeah. It's going to be a field day, so obviously going to be outside. You'll probably have an inside learning component to that
Yes.
as well. So we're really, really super excited about the Pawpaw Growers Conference coming to South Centers in May. So still plenty of time, but it's going to be here before you know it. So keep looking on our website for more information on that. And another thing I did want to talk about briefly on our show here, and we may have some more information about this in a separate video, but our online fruit pruning school, and have you that beautiful flyer?
It is a very pretty
there.
flyer.
We can see the flyer on the screen. The online fruit pruning school, we have had a tremendous response to this event. We have, as of this morning, more than 400 people have signed up to take part in this online fruit pruning school. Every year it is one of our most popular events, and this year we're kind of changing it up just a little bit.
It looks like since it's online now, it's a three-part series.
A three-part series, you're right. And we're going to try to hyper-focus on 3 different fruits. And the first one's going to be apple trees, which I think is really exciting to a lot of people. Whenever we've done the pruning school in the past, people have asked me, are you going to talk about apple trees? Are you going to talk about peach trees? So people are really interested in these types of trees, maybe for their backyard, if they want to start an orchard or whatever. But yes, we are devoting one whole session just to apple tree training and pruning. And that's going to be part 1, held on March 1st. That's coming, what? Is it this coming week?
Right around the corner. It is next week.
So we still have a few more days left to register if you want to get in on time to be with us for the apple tree training and pruning.
And it looks like the second part is the very popular grapevine training.
Yes.
And pruning.
Exactly. Part 2 on March 8th, 1 week later, is we're going to have the grapevine training and pruning. We have that every year. Very popular thing amongst our people with vineyards. So we're going to have that as part 2. And then later that day, you get a double header that day. You get a double header on March 8th. We're going to have part 3 immediately following that, 15 minutes later, and we're going to talk about raspberry bush pruning as well. So March 1st and March 8th is going to be our online fruit pruning school. It is free. You can't beat it. So just go to go.osu.edu/pruning school, and you can get signed up to take part in that. And I do want to stress, I've had so many people ask me, well, Brad, I'd love to watch this. I'd love to take part in this, but I can't be online at that time. I'm working, or I'm traveling, or whatever. I'm taking care of the kids. It doesn't matter. Go ahead and sign up, because we are going to record these and we're going to make them available on demand, so to speak, for anybody who wants to watch them after the fact.
So then you will send out an email to the registered email with a link to be able to click on and view when it's a more convenient time.
Right. So, a couple days, maybe 1 or 2 days after the live event, be looking for an email for the recorded version of that. But it's very important that you go ahead and sign up like you're going to attend it live, so that I have your contact information and we can get that mailed out to you.
Sounds good.
Yeah, very excited. It's got a great response. See how many we have. We're aiming for 500. We'll see. Well, it's been great talking to
has
you,
been.
Jen. Especially talking about all the great things that we have going on out here at South Centers and all the great things to come with our different workshops. So thank you for allowing me to come on and talk about it today.
You are more than welcome. And until next time, we will see you later.
So long.